changing directions, starting this whole life anew. And every road I travel is a mile closer to you. I'm tired of the old life and the troubles that I've seen. I'm looking for a new life and the glory that it brings. I need your forgiveness to forgive others too, and changing directions, but I'm coming back to you. I'm changing directions, starting this whole life new, and every road I travel a mile closer to you. I need your forgiveness to forgive others too. Every road I travel is a mile closer to you. Yes, every road I travel, Lord's a mile closer to you. G'day, my name's Trev Agon. I'd just like to share a bit of a story with you about some of life's issues. Probably some of the main issues that face all of us. A little thing called life and death. Something we all got to face sooner or later. A lot of mystery around it. I guess in my job you get to see a lot of life's disasters each and every day. You see the good side of things, you see the bad side of things. You witness death, you witness hardship. You witness people in all sorts of situations. And so that's why I reckon it's very important for me to talk to you. You know, it's for a lot of people it's a hard subject to look at. But I've been a Christian now for probably 25, 30 years, and I know what side of the fence I want to be on. That's on God's side. This life is full of uncertainties. You don't even know if tomorrow's ever going to come. Your life could be taken in the brink of an eye. You know, we all seem to have our life mapped out, or we think we do. We're going to do this and we're going to do that. But at the end of the day, the next day coming to you is only through the grace of God. When I was a young fellow, my youngest brother drowned, 9 years old. He was playing with a toy car and he fell into an engineering and water supply storage tank. Like I say, he drowned, and my mum and dad were absolutely devastated after that. And I never remember my mum having faith or talking about God until that day. And I think sometimes in life it's not till you're at the end of the road, when your back's against the wall, that you've got nowhere to turn to. You can't turn to man, because man doesn't fulfil that emptiness, that longing, that hurt. And I believe that as a result of my brother drowning, my mum turned to God, and because I was only young myself, she also got us involved in the church. It was a Catholic church, but nevertheless I believe that I found something in that, and that began I'm 49 years old, and that was when I was about 16, so that started a whole new route for me. You know, we all get a chance to change directions. We can pick which way we want to go. Do we want to live the wild life, the life that people seem to want to live, forever searching for fulfilment? You know, people go out to nightclubs, they party all night, they get drunk, they lose their inhibitions, and they wake up in the morning and they're just laying in a heap, and they're thinking, Lord, what did I do last night? You know, what happened? What did I do? Did I offend anybody? Did I do the right thing? or you place all your focus on material things. You look for happiness in material possessions like motor cars and speedboats and just all the luxuries in life. But I believe that God created in every man a vacant spot that can never ever be filled by material possessions. It's a spot they're left in everyone's heart, in their innermost being, that only God can bring fulfillment to. And that is when you find Jesus, that hollow spot becomes full. You find forgiveness, you find refreshing. Your whole life changes. Forgiveness is the most powerful tool that God has given us. In forgiveness, God sets you free. He sets the other person free. He gives you liberty and freedom. You know, there's a lot of worldly people out there that have been hurt in the past. They've had their life torn apart. They've been through turmoil. They've been through broken marriages. They've been through deaths in families. They've been exposed maybe to child abuse, that type of thing. And they're walking around loaded up to the hilt with guilt, with unforgiveness, and their hearts have become twisted and bound up because they've fallen into the devil's greatest trap. The idea of forgiveness is to set the other person free and to set you free. Sure, there's been times when I found it difficult to forgive people. You know, I got a perfect example of that. A few years ago I worked at the Engineering and Water Supply Department in South Australia as a surveyor's assistant. That day at work, this man, he was very evil, he was very twisted, he was very anti-Christ. He called my family some horrific names. And he stood up to me and he goes, "You're nothing, you'll never be nothing, you'll never amount to nothing." He goes, "And your family's crap, and you're God's crap." You know, I stood up and I faced him, and I was going to take a swing at him. I could have knocked his head clean off. I was so angry, so bitter. And you know what? I walked out of that little room where that happened. I walked away, and you know what? I felt the Holy Spirit say to me, "Go back into that room, face that man and say, 'Please forgive me.'" I said, "God, you got to be crazy. This man has hurt me so much. His words stung like a bee. And you want me to go back into that room and ask him, like asking the devil for forgiveness?" I said, "Lord, I don't want to do that." Well, you know what? I walked around for the whole day wrestling with myself, and I had this conviction, which is only from God. Go back to that man and ask for his forgiveness. And you know what? How wonderful God is. I went back in there, I looked at him, I smiled at him, and I said, "You know what? Can you forgive me for taking a swing at you this morning? And can you forgive me for what words I spoke to you?" And you know what he said to me? "You can F off. I don't want your forgiveness. Your forgiveness stinks." And he goes, "I'll never forgive you." And then I walked away from that room and I said, "God, that was a hard thing to do." And then God said to me, "You know what? You've been obedient." And I felt a release after that. Because sometimes forgiving people is not always easy, especially if you've been hurt by that person. And the fact that he rejected my forgiveness as well, it didn't worry in the end. because I know I'd done the right thing by God and I'd been set free. And that's what forgiveness is all about. It's not just necessarily to set the other person free, but through the obedience to God, the forgiveness flows out to you and your spirit is set free. That's a beautiful God that we serve. We think we're living in a world of natural circumstances, but we're not. This is a supernatural place. We're only here as passing travellers. We don't know when we'll be taken away, when our souls will be required of us. That's why it's important to just keep short accounts with God, to remain close to God. And at the end of the day, you can sleep peacefully. Do you know, as a Christian, when you accept Jesus, He's known you from the time you were conceived. He even knows your name. He called you by name. He called me by name. He called me by my name. He called me by name. He called me by name. Oh, bless you, Jesus. Call out my name. Like a mother calls a child, calls the child. Holy Spirit knows your name. He called me by name. He called me by name. Oh, bless you, Jesus. You know, the Lord's put a song in my heart. And the Lord put a song in your heart. It'll make each day worthwhile. I'm sure you get your good times and your bad times. When you're going through your bad times, God's right alongside of you. And you know what? Most importantly of all, He's with you all the time. Sometimes we don't always feel Him. We don't always know He's there. But He's right alongside of you. In this job, I've been exposed to a lot of elements. And there's been other police officers that work next to me. And they've been visibly shattered and distraught at different things that have happened. They've only had mankind to look into to try and draw something out to make things feel better again. You know, when I've had a hard day, you know who I go home to? I go home to God. And that makes the difference. The great I Am is the man I turn to. And you know, you can find God too. Not always going to be easy. I'll tell you one thing though. He never gives you a band-aid. He gives you the real thing. There's power in the cross. There's power in Jesus. And yep, He's put a new song in my heart. He's put a new direction in my heart. There's one thing I can leave you with today. You're probably thinking, what's this copper doing out here on the rock out in the hot sun? Truth is, I'm probably here for you. You could be hurting, could be thinking of suicide. You might be going through a broken marriage. I don't know, but you know what? God knows. And God will bring into place over your path as a Christian, someone will reach out and help you. And he'll give you peace. He'll give you fulfillment. And he'll let you know who you are. He'll let you find your destiny in this big, big universe of uncertainty. Oh, bless you, Lord, for the song you put in my heart. Thank you, Lord, in my life you got a part. I stand at the river all alone. I face you, my Lord, I face you all alone. You're all that I am, you're all I hope to be. I stand at the river on bended knee. I stand at the river, I'm bended knee. On bended knee. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Only you can make me strong. Only you can give me a brand new song. Only you can make my dreams come true. Only you. Only you can make my dreams come true. I put my love and hope in you. Only you. Only you, Lord. Only you. You are my God, Lord. Only you can mend a broken heart. Pick me up and give me a brand new start. Only you can make my dreams come true. Only you. Oh, only you. Only you, my Lord. Only you. You picked me up when I was down. You put my feet on solid ground. Turned my life and made me brand new. All got my faith in you.